Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This video today is going to be a review of the Tombow Irojiten colored pencils. There are 3 sets of these, set 1, set 2, and set 3. Rainforest, woodlands, and seascapes. So they come in these boxes. Now Irojiten, from what I have gathered from doing some research, it means dictionary. So you will often find these called color dictionary. Irojiten. So these are from Tombow, which is a Japanese brand, and these are wax-based pencils. Now I am told that these are a good craft pencil. A lot of card makers, crafters will use these to color in their stamps and stuff, and I think these would work really great for adult coloring books too. They often kind of fly under the radar, like you don't really see too much stuff on YouTube about them as far as adult coloring books. So I thought I would go ahead and get these and try them out. Now, as I said, there are 3 sets of these pencils, and which means there are 90 pencils in this line. And so each one of these sets has 3 little books in them. Each book contains 10 pencils, so you get 30 pencils in one of these little sets. I will open them up and show you how they look. Now these are a good mid-range pencil. You can get these sets individually. I also believe that these pencils are sold open stock, although maybe the open stock may be hard to find here in this country because these are Japanese based. So I bet if you go to Japan, you could probably find a lot of them in open stock. But you'd probably have to look around a lot to try to find them in open stock, but from what I have read, you can get them in open stock. And then also, as I said, each set is also sold individually, or you can get them packaged together. I got this whole thing for about 85 bucks on Amazon. Each set, I believe, retails for $29.99, which is a little pricey. I would look to try to find them a little cheaper. As I said, I got them all for like 85 bucks, so that really wasn't too bad. You get 90 pencils in there. So really, I mean, that's really not too bad at all. Probably 50 cents a pencil for this. So anyway, let me go ahead and open them up and I will show you exactly what they look like. Now I'm going to go ahead and take off the papers. Everything on these is in Japanese. So we're just going to go ahead and show you one set at a time. Let's see. So let's go ahead and go with set number 1 first. So we're going to pull them out. And we'll do a little bit of coloring with them too, so I can show you how they color. But I'm going to go ahead and take off this outer paper on these. All of this is in Japan. You do get on this label the color chart. So I may snip this off right here and just keep this for reference right there. So you do get this little color chart on each of these packs. So now these things come in these little books, like so. You get a pamphlet inside each one of these sets, and this has the color chart for all of it, it looks like. It's in Japanese though, so that could be a little troubling. I think part of it's in English though. But anyway, so this is the ones that come in set number 1, and as you can see, it comes in these little books. Call it a little booklet. And so here are the colors in this one here. Let me go ahead and open up all of the books in the set here. And I'll show them to you. And I'm losing pencils. Yikes. Yipes. Alright, my pencils are falling out. So it might behoove you to get another alternative case for these, because as you're gonna be able to see, if you want to spread your pencils out, it's not the most practical thing to do, because you have to open up these little book containers. But here is set number 1. Each of these have 10 different pencils, so you get 30 pencils in a box like this. Now the pencils themselves have a white casing. Let me go ahead and pick one up for you guys. you will see that the pencils themselves have a white casing on them. They don't feel as substantial as some of the pencils I own, but again, these aren't the toppest quality either. These are more, I think, a mid-range. So they're not your Crayola, but they're not going to be polychromos. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So the casing, you get a white kind of lacquered type casing, and then the color of the pencil is on the top like this. And then it's got some writing. I think that says Irojiten right there. So they're a round barrel, and they feel really light in your hand. I don't know how pigmented they are. I've not tried them out yet. We're going to do that together. Okay, so again, you get 30 pencils in each one of these little boxes. So here is set number 1. And again, to put these away, it's going to be a bit of a pain because you have to close these things up and do it like this. Okay, and then it's gonna go back in. It's gonna go back in this box. So if you're the kind who like to spread all of your pencils out when you're coloring, I would recommend getting a different case to house these in, because although this packaging is gorgeous, I really do like the packaging, it's not very practical. It's not very practical for spreading out your pencils. Okay, so now here is set number 2. There's the colors of those books, and we're going to go ahead and take them out. So again, on this, you do get the nice color chart right there. Okay, so set number 2 contains, again, another pamphlet like we've seen in the first one. But set number 2 contains these colored books here. So let's go ahead and open them up, and I'll show you the pencils. So in each one of these sets, you do get light tones, you get kind of medium tones, and then you get some darker tones. And if you tip them over, the pencils are going to fall out very easily, so be careful of that. Now, in these sets, like, you will often see some pastel colors that you're not going to see in other sets. So that's kind of neat. And I have also been told that, ooh, am I missing a pencil? Okay, there it is. I have been told that these pencils are more, contain like more realistic colors. So like if you're going to do landscapes or florals and stuff, these are good colors to use for that, because they're more natural, more realistic kind of pencils. So anyway, as I said, you get some deep tones, you get some medium tones, and then you also find some pastel pencils that you don't really see in other brands. So that's kind of neat. Okay, so again, 30 pencils in this. Each one of these little books contain 10 pencils. So we're going to go ahead and close these up, and then I will show you set number 3. Again, this packaging, as pretty as they made this, it's not very practical. But again, I think they were playing on the name Irojiten, so they wanted to make it look like a dictionary. So I can see where they were going with this. It's just, if you want to spread out all your pencils, it's just not very practical. So here is set number 3. And again, much of the same thing. You do get a color chart. And then here is what you get in set number 3. There's the colored books. Here's the pamphlet again that you always get. So let's go ahead and open them up, and we'll spread them out. So there's that one. And all right, those are the pastel ones. All right, so we're gonna get get them. Okay, so here's those two right there. And then here is going to be number 3, which we're going to slide in like so. Okay, so here is all of the ones in set number 3. Get a lot of pastel colors right there in that set. So again, a lot of pastel colors that you're not going to see in other brands. Okay, so there's all the colored pencils themselves. I don't know what the diameter dimensions are in these. I don't know how big they are. Again, they feel light in your hand. They're not as substantial as some of the other pencils are that you're going to see in other brands. But again, these aren't the most expensive ones either. So I don't know how, again, I don't know how pigmented they are. I've not tried them out, but we're going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to get something to color, and we're going to have just a little coloring session. So let me get set up, and I will be right back. Alright guys, so what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go back to our geometric shaped coloring book, and we're going to work on this page a little bit. We're going to do just a little bit of coloring in this and just see how they work. So again, I'm going to be doing my little disclaimer for when we do all this coloring. I am coloring with the visual impairment, which means I have to get really close to my page so I can see what I'm doing. So a lot of times you may see my head, or a lot of times you are going to see my head. I try to back off to show you guys what I did. If my head gets in the way too much. So anyway, I just wanted to clear that up, so in case any new people wander onto this video and go, oh, your head's in the way. Well, yeah, I realize that. So that's just the nature of what we have to deal with this visual impairment. So I do apologize for that, but we're going to try to compensate the best way that we know how. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring in some of this. Now in this picture we do have quite a few little, quite a few of these big places here. So we can do some, we can work on some shading to see how this is going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and take this, which one did I want here? I'm going to go ahead and take this blue pencil. Now, there's really nothing written on the barrels here. There's some really light writing on the barrel. I think it's in Japanese. Again, this is a Japanese brand, so it's going to be a little difficult to understand if you don't read Japanese. So I'm going to take this lighter blue pencil here, and I'm going to go ahead and work on this piece right here. So we're gonna start with a real light layer and just see how this lays down. Now this again is a real light color. It's not as pigmented as other pencils are. Again, I'm doing just a real light layer on this, and I'm hoping that with this big enough piece that my head isn't going to be in the way too much. So if you want something a little darker, you're going to have to push just a little bit, but it's not really doing too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just I'm going to fill all of this in. I'm going to give it just a little base coat. Now I am working in set number 1. Let me show you the outside of the box. So set number 1, let me just show you what it says here. Set number 1 contains pale tones 1, vivid tones 1, and deep tones 1. So as you can see right there, it gives you an idea of what you're going to find in each one of these little sets. But what I'm doing is I'm doing this piece with just this real light color blue, and I'm going to fill it in. I'm just going to give this just a real light base coat on this. They seem like they lay down pretty nicely. They do feel good in the hand. They're very light in the hand, so if you want something that feels light, these pencils definitely do that. So I'm just going to fill in this piece with just this color, and then we're going to see how these things shade. Okay. So I feel like, again, I feel like I have to press just a little bit harder than I would like with polychromos or even Prismacolors. Again, these pencils are not, I don't know if they would call these artist grade. I've heard a lot of people just, they refer to them as craft grade. So I think these are geared more toward crafters and card makers and stuff to color in their stamped images, which is fine. We're going to see how they work with these adult coloring books. Again, these aren't as smooth as what you would find with polychromos or any of the artist grade brands, but these aren't bad at all. Now this is a pale blue, so and again, I'm kind of using a light hand, but not as light as I did with my Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils. So let's go ahead and find a medium kind of blue. Well, we'll try this color. We'll try this color. We'll get it to kind of go like up here. So again, I'm going to use just this really light hand right now to get it to lay down. And really, it's not doing too bad. I'm going to get my lighter blue one back out here. I probably shouldn't have put that away because I'm going to need that to shade that in when we're through. Whoops. So I'm just going to add just a layer here. These do feel kind of waxy. Again, these are wax based, so these are going to be a bit more waxy than, but I don't think they're as waxy as like a Crayola. So I think you're going to be able to get some good layering out of this. So I'm just going to... And Tombow, like I said, is a real good, reliable brand. So I don't think you're really going to go wrong with them. Now, I wouldn't call these like washed out or anything like you would with others. But these are more muted, I guess, because again, these are geared more toward doing realistic scenes, I think, and they're not as blendable, again, as say polychromos or Prismacolors. You've got to work with it a little bit, but it does blend. It does really nicely, it seems like, and if you want to burnish it in a little bit, you could take a colorless blender and do it that way. But these harsh lines are going away. You just have to kind of work with it a little bit. You got to press just a little bit more than what you would with like polychromos or Prismacolors. But that, I think, is to be expected. But it does work. It does work nicely. I mean, look at that. It will shade, and it will blend. So it's actually pretty nice. Okay, so then I'm going to take another color. We're going to try to go with a real deep color. Now for mixing purposes and stuff for layering, let's go ahead and try this one. Let's see how it does on the edge over here. And I'm going to press down just a little bit more on this. Well, not really, because this darker color really, because it's darker, you don't really need it. I would imagine that because these are kind of waxy, you could get that wax bloom. So you might want to be mindful just how many layers you put on this. Okay, so then let's go ahead and take this one. And let's work it. So this really does not do too badly. I think I can be quite pleased with these. And I'm not really experiencing much fallout with them. It's just... So it seems like you get some really nice lay down with these. this one over here. Oops. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to put this here on the edge. And then I'm going to take this color again here, and we're going to blend it together. So these will mix pretty well. You just got to work with it a little bit, but these seem like that they're going to do pretty well. So if you're looking for something that's not going to break the bank, and like, you know, let's say you can't get polychromos or Prismacolors or whatever, but you want something kind of, you do want something other than like Crayola or Crazy Art or something like that. And if you can spring for just a little bit more, these are pretty good. I'm just going to go over, again, you can take your colorless blender and burnish it in there, and I think it'll do pretty well. So, again, you got to work with it a little bit to get out these harsher lines, but you can get it to blend. It's just, it's not going to be as easy as Prismacolors. These are a little bit of a harder lead. So they're kind of soft, but they're not like real soft, and they're not real hard either. They're not as hard as some of the ones that I've seen. So let's go ahead and take, we could do, yeah, that's probably going to be enough for our demonstration purposes right now. So, now what I can do is I will show you guys this picture when it is all done. I'll show you guys this picture when it's all done. And, or maybe, you know, for a coloring gab we can continue this picture or something. But running my hand along this, I'm not really noticing any fallout. And I'm not really noticing like any kind of icky residue. Like to run my finger across it, I don't notice any kind of icky residue that you would see with other colored pencils. So I mean a little bit, like you feel a little bit of wax, but you know, it's not anything major that's gonna kind of make you go ugh when you're running your hand across it. So anyway, that is our look at the Irojiten colored pencils from Tombow. I will feature these in a color and gab session. That way you guys can see them in action a little bit more. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that already, and hit the bell. You'll be notified when I upload new material. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and tell me what you think. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you all later. Okay, bye guys.